G'day there, I'm Dana from Pewakaka Valley Homestead, and today we're going to be looking at how you can save your own bean and pea seeds so that you don't have to keep buying seeds from the store. The first thing you'll need to know if you're saving any kind of seed is actually what kind of plant it is, what type of variety it is. So this is when you're labelling, when you're very first sowing your seeds, is really, really important. There's three main different types of plants. There's heirloom, there's open pollinated, and there's hybrid. Heirloom varieties are your old traditional heritage types of plants, and 99.999% of them will always grow true to seed. So these are the ones that you really want to be using if you're trying to keep seed of your own. So this comes down to your first seed selection when you actually start choosing your plants to grow and which ones you choose to grow in your garden. Most of the plants I grow in my garden are heritage varieties. If they're not heritage varieties, they're the second option, which is open pollinated. Open pollinated plants are not considered heirloom or heritage, usually because the particular variety hasn't been around long enough. There's a varying description what makes something heirloom or heritage, and so open pollinated are ones that can pollinate with all different types but will still grow true to seed. The other option is hybrid. Now hybrid plants are when they cross two types together, and it's that first, usually F1 first generation. The problem with hybrid seeds is they're not always fertile, and they're not going to probably grow true to type. However, sometimes it's worth a try. Sometimes you'll find that they just won't grow at all, and sometimes you'll find that they grow really well, they're really nice, but they're not exactly the same as the one you grew them from. So it's up to you whether you want to give it a try or not, but if you are serious about seed saving, the plants you want to be growing are heritage/heirloom varieties or open pollinated ones. When I was out here yesterday, one of the things I did was pick some of the peas that I want to keep the seeds from. They're not quite as dry as I would usually keep them, but the plants were starting to die from this sort of mildewy, it's just kind of the end of the season, and that was it. So I've replanted a few of the seeds, and then I'm going to be keeping the seeds out of these ones. Same goes for some of the runner beans that we've got, and the kids have been helping me. We've already collected the broad bean seeds, also known as fava beans, and also we've been collecting the tick beans out from in the food forest area. So if you're going to be saving seeds from peas and beans, you want to be making sure that you're doing it from pods that are as ripe as possible. So over here you can see these are our scarlet runners. So I'm going to let all these pods here ripen up, and then we're going to save the seeds from all of them. So I have a few pods that have started to go brown and crusty, and that's when you know that they're ready to save. The other ones I'm really keen to save are these ones over here. They're known as a white runner, and actually these ones have been grown locally in Dunedin for many generations, and they're tastier than, I find them nicer and less stringy than the red scarlet runners. The ones from the runner bean plant, they're probably not as dry as they should be, but they're dry enough, I think. Now these scarlet runners, I see the pods are really dry and they're kind of crusty, and that's when you know they're as ripe as they're going to get. And it's literally as easy as opening them up and grabbing the seeds out. I won't keep this one because it's smaller and it's not as plump. It probably won't grow so well. What you're looking for is these nice big plump seeds. So we'll just get rid of that one. Oh, maybe not in the keeping container. And then this can just go into the compost. And these bean seeds, then you want to sit them somewhere sunny and dry until they're really dry. So I sit them in a container and sit them on the windowsill, and I just give them a good stir, just in an ice cream bottle like this. And I give them a good stir every day just to bring the next ones up to the surface. You'll see the same with these peas. These peas aren't as dry as I'd like them to be, so they are still a little bit green, but you can see the pod is really full. Oops a daisy, I lost my pea. And these are a local pea variety called Progress, which again I want to keep the seeds from. So I'm going to dry these. Despite them still being a bit green, they will dry out just fine. I'm actually inside podding the rest of these peas, and I have never seen peas that have sprouted in the pod before. So if you see one sort of sprouted in the pod like this, you might as well just stick them in the ground and let them grow, or eat them, because you can't keep those as growing seeds. Once the beans are nice and dry, I just store them in a glass jar with a big old label on them, saying exactly what they are. What you don't want to do is mislabel them, and then of course you're going to get the wrong kind of peas or beans for what you plant, and that's going to be really frustrating. Things like these scarlet runners, they're quite an obvious bean. They've kind of got the pinky purple on them, and then the black, they're quite obvious. But others are not quite so obvious, and if it's just a pea, I also grow ones called blue shelling peas, and they're really pretty, and they have purple flowers and purple pods. The peas inside the pods are still green, and so the seed from those looks almost identical to these ones, which I'm trying to keep separately so that I can build these up. So I have kept enough of the blue shelling peas just for our family, but with these progress peas I want to grow more because I've got extended family that are keen for some as well. Now over here you can see these are the tick beans. So if you're saving peas and beans, ideally your plants will have nice dark firm pods that you can hear the crunch from, and some of them have shelled themselves and are regrowing down here. There's a new one that's grown from self-seeding. Now if you want to test the viability of your seeds, what you want to do, soak the seeds overnight and then sit them on some damp paper towel and leave them there for a couple of days. And within a few days, you'll probably, at least within 10 days, but usually within sort of 3 or 4 days, you'll find that they start throwing a little sprout. And if they're sprouting, you know the seeds are good. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. We bring you videos twice a week on growing and preserving your own food and other homesteading bits and pieces. We'll see you in the next one.